All right, 6x4 here. We're starting with 170 first, and then we'll see how we feel here. Well, as you know, I don't know. What do you know, right? What do you know? It's a great question. The only thing I really know is you just keep going about it. You just keep doing what you know you need to do, and you just keep learning it. Keep learning, keep seeing what you can do better, see if you hit everything like 100%, you know, what things you can improve on. That's the only thing you really can know. And just day in, day out, just keep going about it. Keep attacking it. Keep striving. Keep seeking for the next best opportunity and keep seeking for the next best success for that 1% for that day and things like that. And it's like, as y'all know, I do a challenge every week, right? And like with me, just like keeping my body, my physique in check and shape and things, as like, I'm still learning as I go. Like, you might see this, right? And you're like, yo, how's this even possible? Like, how you still eating so much food and you still looking like that? Like, to be honest, like, I'm still learning as I go through this because this is like a whole new game for me. As opposed to what I was doing back then, like, going back then, like, moving forward is like, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different perspective, viewpoint of what I'm doing right now, as opposed to what I was doing, you know, like, shit, even a year, 2, 3 years ago. Because, you know, at the same time, too, it's like, I was just looking at old pictures. I mean, when I did right before I did the 10K, I kind of did like a physique up check too. It's been about like 2 months, give or take, for me to adding my cut to up to this point. And I was just looking at it, I was like, yo, this is crazy how much more leaner I am 2 months, you know, up to now, as opposed to like 2 months later, right? And it's crazy too, because like my calories is like over 1,000 more than what I was consuming at the time. And, you know, I'm still lean bulking. So it's like I'm still learning like what's really happening, you know, what's the science, what's really going on here, you know, with everything that's going on, right? With my workouts, with, you know, my metabolism, my calories, what's really like what's really happening inside that's leading me to this direction, right? And what I can like tell you from my past experience is that the things I'm doing right now, again, before there's some things I was doing back then that I'm not doing right now. And so like I can take those different perspectives, I can take those different mistakes, apply it to what I'm doing right now, and just kind of go back and forth between those two and try to figure out like good answers just for myself and personally. To like, all right, like, hey, I'm doing this. This is what's happening, right? You know, I wasn't doing this before because, you know, I had like X, Y, and Z belief, but now like that belief is different. I experiment myself. I'm testing it. Things are working. So it makes more sense like why I was experiencing this way as opposed to how I'm seeing and being shaped differently this way, right? Oh, I need 10. Yeah, I think the craziest thing is, for me, doing things differently. Like, because again, like I've been like, in the game for 4 years now. Yeah, I'm no near perfect. I'm nowhere close to, you know, truly fully understand because there's always ways to learn. There's always ways to grow and things like that. But it's like what I can like learn from, what can I take from is like, for the being 4 years is like understands like the mistakes I was doing and the mistakes that was happening that caused me to be at the position X, Y, and Z back then versus the position I'm in now, right? And just move forward. Like I never really think about like, oh, I gotta do this in a certain amount of time, right? Like the goals are cool for me. Like when I look at goals, like it's cool to have something like that, right? Like cool. Like for me, my goal was to lose 10 pounds in 8 weeks, right? And I did that. They said, but I think more entirely for me, it's more the actions and the habits that you do that applies and that leads up to those, driven results as opposed to like set a goal. Cause like you set a goal and like you wait for a certain amount of time and if you're not applying the action, like it's 1 month before that deadline. It's like, oh shit, like you gotta hurry up. Sometimes like it's not always feasible. Especially right now, like, because like I don't have a goal like what I'm trying to do. Like my goal is like to maintain 235, 237. So it's just like, all right, cool. What actions and what steps do I need to do to make that happen, right? And it's like going from a cut to my maintenance, right? Chilling there for a little bit, seeing no change. Cool. Let me just increase my calories, right? There's like at that point, it's like the goal is still there. The goal is for me to stay at 235, 237. But with those actions, with those steps, is like if things are working to the direction like you see it working, and that he was like, damn, like what's happening? Because like he was like, for me, being 37 calories and like my body weight is still staying the same. I mean, like right now, 4,000 calories, it's still staying the same. It's like, all right, cool. Then it's like this is what gives you the opportunity to play around. It's like, let me jump with the calories. Let me find that threshold. Let me find that break point where it's like, cool, I can't keep increasing my calories anymore because I'm going to start increasing my weight, right? So it's like you start finding ways like if your goal is just to maintain 235, 237, like for me, instance, then it's like, let me just keep finding that new mark until I do. And then it's like, cool, I keep staying there until I go back into a deficit, right? Or whatever season that I'm looking to do. But as you already know, I'm going to go back in deficit not soon, probably like within 2 or 3 months, or even a month or two, actually. And it's like, me to go back in deficit and me to lose more weight, it's giving me a lot more easy, simple, and it's not giving me as much stress to it. Cause like, and I'll be still eating way more food than I was when I first time was in deficit. So it's just like, that's how I kind of look at it. It's like, cool, what actions and what steps do I need to do to make things more simple and make things more easy for me? So when I go back into deficit, I still apply the same things I'm doing. The only difference is I'm more food consumption than I was when the first time around, right? We almost there. And it's like the mistakes I made back in the past, like, yeah, like I was always a person like eating like in the 3,000 mark calories, right? I got to the point where I was eating 3,600. But when I was eating, consuming those 3,600 calories, those food consumption was different. Like back then, I was like consuming like yogurt, granola, Pop Tarts, protein shake right before bed. I'll like try to find different ways. I'll do like 6 whole eggs, some beef in the morning, rice with that too, in the morning too. So it's like I was doing all different combinations of different like ways to like hit the certain amount of macros, right? And that's what gives you the freedom to do so. Is like there's like so many ways. Like you can have 3 different lists of plans for 3,600 calories, right? Let's just take that for example, right? Like plan 1 for 3,600 calories could look so much more different than plan 2. And plan 2 could look for so much more different than plan 3. But at the end, they still overfire 3,600 calories. And just again, it all depends on the difference of like the food combinations you have, right? And you can have different food combinations from ground beef to chicken to fish to ground turkey, any of those things, right? Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, you name it, right? Like there's so many different ways to hit that amount of calories. Now, of course, it's gonna be different too, because like you got to find ones like to, really like acquire the amount of consumption of calories without making you too full, but without being too much distressed. Like your body can also break that food substance down within, gives you enough time frame before the next meal to give yourself that hunger response to make sure you're ready for the next meal and things like that, right? All right, enough barbell. Almost just like my water bottle out. I see dumbbells 4x12 here. But yeah, I got like so many like data log booking of like different combinations is different ways to attack different ways and like attack different plans. And I would say like this plan has been like the best plan I've designed for myself, and the best plan like I've designed to be where I'm at right now and things that, and just seeing the amount of changes my body's making, seeing the amount of progress my body is shit within what kind of like 2 months, right? Like I would say 4 months, right? From the start of my cut up to this point, like within 4 months, how much of a drastic change that has been when it comes to my body composition, my strength being increased, the food intake being increased, the food challenges I'm doing right, and still looking the way I do and things that like there's so many things that's been happening that's been like, damn, this shit gets me excited. Like especially when I wake up every morning, I get excited, come to the gym, work out. I get excited to eat this amount of food. I get excited to, plan my challenge, plan, what food consumption I want to do for that day. And that's about it. Like I get excited for those things. So seeing like this plan fall in place and seeing this plan really does do its magic, it's like, damn, it's like I'm waking up to every single day feeling this way. Think about that for a second. What you just said. The truth about it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys don't know me by now. I like to keep things simple. I like to keep things fun. And for me, being simple, yeah, shit. Yeah, my meals, I eat the same thing every single day. That's why I'm able to allow myself to do a cheat meal. So I'm able to allow myself to not feel good to allow myself to look the way I did when I do these food challenges, right? You know, a lot of, my workouts, simple, basic to the point, right? You know, mostly compounds, for the first block or two, versus accessories, but straight to the point, right? Nothing fancy, no nuances. Just kind of like straight old school, simple lifting. Be honest, cardio wise, just my 10K steps. That's all I really need to do is just 10K steps to keep where I'm at right now. Now, of course, I increase it for sure. There'll be time and place where I need to, or it might be a time and place where I just step on a treadmill and nothing crazy, but to increase my steps a little bit faster, depending on that season. And everything else is pretty it, right? I keep my food simple, keep my water intake simple, and find ways to keep my stress low, make sure I have a consistent bedtime. That's really it, to be honest. Shit. Oh, damn. All right, one more set here. And one thing's for sure that I'll probably never understand to this day is like how you guys make your fitness journey so complicated. And like he tries to do he tries so many different things. Like pick one thing. Pick the one thing that's gonna you feel is gonna suit best for you. Stick with it for a little bit. You got all the time in the world to get a day, see if it's working or not, and then you can make adjustments from there. Like the fact that you just keep jumping back and forth from one thing to another within 30 days or less, or not even more than that, so that you can just feel like nothing's working. Like it's not you, it's the other factors. Nah, dog. It's just you. It's always been you. You just don't have the mentality. You just don't have the dedication. You don't have the effort to put in the time, put in the work to really try something, really experience how things are working, what the program is doing for you. You're just going through the motions, and you're just going through it, trying to seek validation from us. I'm on this plan, I'm doing it. I'm checking off these boxes. That shit ain't gonna cut, dog. That shit won't work. You gotta do it when you're not feeling well. You gotta do it when you don't feel like working out, when you know you need to. There's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna have to do where you don't be seeking validation. You still gotta do the shit. You still gotta do the work. All right, I'm under superset. Holy shit. Oh, we got 5 sets of these. These are gonna be brutal. It's just gonna hurt. How do you feel it? But you honestly cannot go through the motion. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort. And over time, you just have to stay consistent. Like you can't be that person like give it 3 months, see what happens. Like that's the wrong mentality you're gonna have. That's the wrong mentality that's gonna take you to not get to the destination you want to be. You have mentality like you're all in. You have the mentality this is gonna be the one, right? You can put all that all in mentality into you can be doing what you need to acquire that dream physique, right? And whatever that program is for you, you gotta make sure you do it to, close to 100% every single day. Of course, Grant, you're not gonna be 100% every single day. There's gonna be times where it's like you might be 85%. There might be times where you might not get your 10K steps in, right? There'll be times where you might not get your water intake in, right? But if you know each day you're putting the energy and effort into your program and try to become 1% better every single day, I guarantee you're gonna be a way different person. And you're gonna be looking at yourself, watching yourself completely different down the road as opposed to what you were doing in the past. Oh, oh shit. Oh. Set my weights here. And that over here. And with the LM mentality, it's going to take you some time to really develop it. It's going to really take you some time to really, make that an all powerful motive along your journey. Because sometimes too, like cool, you got a program, but then you're doing a program, you're falling into a T. I mean, the results is not the way you want to look at it, or the results ain't showing the way you expected. That's okay, because like maybe you might have to still figure out yourself. You might still have to figure out what causes you to feel this way, right? What causes you to act this way? What's causing you to? What's the fear you're having of pushing past the limit and pushing past on what you need to do? And that might take some time. Like you can go all in a program, but that fear, and if there's an emotional factor that's evolving to the point where it's holding you back, or you're not using your full potential, that's something you're just gonna have to figure out along your journey. And it's not easy, because it might be a whole new experience for you. It might be a whole new way when you try and deal with what you got going on right now, and a whole new experience. Like, cool, like this time I want lose 30, 50 pounds. And this is gonna be the year. And this time is gonna be the time that I'm gonna be a different person, right? And those are gonna be two different experiences, right? And like, how do you handle both? Honestly, like, there's really no specific answer to how I handle both. It's like, it depends on the individual, but you gotta figure out along the way, like, how can you suppress how you can suppress that one side to allow yourself to work on what you need to work on. Set 3. Oh, holy fire. We got 2 more of this shit. We probably need to get on the first name is so rememberable that I can't remember that they changed it to. Get all the paperwork on get on their website. And the reason I'm telling you this too is like, I'm going through the same shit how I explained to you, but just in a different realm, right? It's not so much I'm going through my fitness. My fitness is like, fitness for me has always just came natural. So never really had to worry about, trying to go all in or trying to figure out what holds me back, right? Of course, over time, like, I had to kind of figure out, like, why wasn't I looking the way I was doing in the past? So up to this point, and I just find my answers, then I accept it, because again, that's life. It's all about learning, and you just move on from it, keep improving. This is all it just comes down in my end, right? But for me, on the other side of things, it's like figuring out like what's really holding me back, or like what's the emotion feeling that I'm always getting that causes me to not go all in on the tasks and the objectives I need to do for the other things, right? And it's over time, as like, I keep, pretty much just figuring out myself, right? Just keep either doing some reading, seeing some posts that I can resonate with, or just having conversations with myself or something like that, or just like having moments with myself where I'm like, all right, like, what do we need to do better? And as over time, as I just keep solving more problems for myself, as I keep figuring out, like, get more clarity on what I need to do and the person I'm trying to become, it's just like the answer becomes more clear. Well, the answer becomes more clear, but at the same time, that experience you're feeling that you never experienced before, it takes some time to figure out how to handle it. Fuck. Holy shit. Oh, we got one more. And you're not always gonna have it figured out. Trust me. You never do. You never will. But what you can just get out of it is just attain the wisdom, get wisdom from read a book, from other people's journeys, from your own experience, and just tell yourself that you're not gonna go down the same hole. You tell yourself that you're gonna try to become a better version. Whatever that case is, of course for me, is I wouldn't want to say suppressing, but pushing away that factor that's blocking me from what I need to do and from what I need to excel in this other area, right? And so it's like, and that's gonna take some time. It's been taking some time, right? Because it's something I'm not used to, and something like it's just like you just had to find your own mother, find your own way that you can cope with it, so it doesn't keep getting in the way, and things like that. And as I am just over time, it's like I would say that like these past 2 weeks have been much more beneficial for me internally. Then, of course, the external factor is I'm not liking what the results are, but what I can say internally is I'm becoming more confident, I'm becoming more clear on what I need to do, and becoming more concise on, the projects I'm working on, what I'm trying to develop, who I'm trying to become, right? So sometimes it might not be the external results you're looking for. It might be more internal. And whatever that internal is, you got to seek that for yourself. You got to seek those wins. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh. Yeah, you don't understand how bad this hurts. Oh. One last exercise. Hey. 3 or 15 here. Last exercise. And that's a wrap. Oh. But yeah, again, like I said, even for me, I'm still trying to figure out my own shit too. And everybody's gonna be trying to figure out the shit. Everybody's gonna be trying to figure out what's gonna be the best way they can cope with things, what's the best way they can attack the plan 100% without any distractions, right? Without losing the focus. And it takes time, especially if you're new to the game or you're trying to get back into it. It takes time. You know, you gotta find your own motive, you gotta find your own drive, you gotta find your own kind of rhythm and flow, right? To really, all right, cool. Like this area, this place is like where I'm working, right? Or like this is time frame working. They say like you just gotta find different again rhythms to get yourself to be successful, right? And get yourself to really conquer your goals or conquer that dream physique in a sense, right? So slowly it comes down even for me too. Like I'm still learning as I go. Not again, not so much on the fitness side of things. Again, like of course as I go on through my own fitness, like I'm still learning, I'm still growing. I'm still trying to find my own answers of what's really happening, right? And things along those lines. But you know, at least for me, I can get a good grasp on like what's really happening. I can get a good grasp, like, all right, like here's some mistakes I was doing in the past. This is what I'm doing different. And this is the growth I'm seeing from doing things different as opposed to the past. Fuck. You know, one of the last thing I'll leave you with is that you're always trying to like, I think people seek like, how can they like lose this amount in this certain time frame, right? Or like they worry about like, can they lose this amount in a certain amount of time frame, right? And I think like that's the issue and that's the problem when you try to start your journey or when you try and go on your path. Is like, don't be so focused on a number. Don't be so focused on how long is it gonna take you to get where you need to be. Everybody's got a different story. Everybody's got a different chapter. Everybody's got a different pace on when they want to start. Again, you and your own self know when you're ready to full on tackle it. And the biggest thing and the biggest conception you gotta really look at is what's the person gonna look like from 6 months, 12 months, even 18 months for down the road? What's that person gonna look like, right? Don't chase the number on the scale, or just don't chase how fast you can get things done, right? You're just setting yourself up for failure. More entirely, figuring out like who can you become in the next 6, 12, 18 months, and what's that gonna look like for you, right? What does that future self gonna look like? Like 6 months, you might be feeling this way, right? 6 months, you might be looking a little different, right? 6 months, you might have to get new clothes, right? It could be a lot of different things that goes into the future. But look what you can do long term, again, versus the short term. I'll leave that with you guys, because like, there's a lot of times people are always like asking me, is like, how long do you think I can like do X, Y, and Z? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna take myself. It just all depends on the individual. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It all depends on if you have the right plan, you have the right habits, and you got the right actions to take to get yourself where you need to be. That's all just really gonna matter, right? If you just follow the same actions, the same plans, the same steps over and over again, that goal will be conquered. It just all depends on how consistent you're gonna be with those. I'll just leave you with that. Other than that, that's the shoulder workout for today. Finish this last set. We got legs bright and early in the morning. And again, we got Chick-fil-A challenge tomorrow. So I'm excited for that as well. Other than that, you guys have a blessed day. I'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah.